Good afternoon. Welcome to part 2 of my two-part series on VLANs. In my last video, I covered the subject of VLANs. More specifically, I covered what LANs are, what VLANs are and what they do, the different aspects of VLANs, as well as the different types. In addition, I wanted to cover some areas of VLANs I'm not sure if everyone's heard about or have not learned about, but are extremely important to know in your future IT workspaces. They are extended VLANs, VTP or VLAN trunking protocols, as well as DTP or dynamic trunking protocols. However, if you're one of the learners like me who doesn't do so well hearing about a subject but is better at learning it and seeing it being demonstrated, then this is the video for you. And this is why I wanted to do a two-part video on the subject of VLANs. I wanted to demonstrate or do a how-to video on how to configure extended VLANs, VLAN trunking protocols, as well as dynamic trunking protocols is because as a network administrator, it will become more challenging to manage VLANs and trunks the network as the amount of switches increases in a company. That's where VDPs or VLAN trunking protocols and DDP or dynamic trunking protocols come into play. A VDP will allow network administrators the ability to automate the management of the VLANs, while a DTP will enable automatic trunk negotiations. So, in other words, this means that once you configure a VLAN on a switch, you don't have to do the same thing repetitively to all the other VLANs. They'll automatically do them, saving you a lot of time and money in your company. So without further ado, let's begin. In front of you, I've created a simple yet complex topology that will fulfill the purposes of the demonstration, of course, on how to configure extended VLANs, VDPs, and DDPs. So to begin, we have to configure all the switches to use VDP. So in this scenario, let's configure switch 2 to be our server and switch 1 and 3 to be the clients. So to begin, we have to configure switch 2 as a VTP server on a CCNA VDP domain. And for our VTP password, let's use Cisco because we've been using it for most of it. So let's go to switch 2. Let's enter a configuration mode. Okay. So to be able to configure switch 2 as a VTP server in a CCNA VDP domain, we must first change the VTP name from null to CCNA. And the command is VTP domain CCNA. There we go. Now the VTP domain name is changed from null to CCNA. Now from my past experiences, when you set up a switch and you're trying to configure VTP on the switch, most of the time the device name is already a VTP server for the VLANs, but you can have V2 server, so we're going to double check that right now. And the command to be able to set a device to a VTP server is VTP mode server. And as suspected, the device mode is already set as a VTP server. Our next task is to configure switch 1 and switch 3 as VTP clients on a CCNA VTP domain. And the process to do so is the same set of commands I just used, except instead of using the command VTP mode server, we would exchange server for client. So without further ado, let's do that. Let's go to switch 1. Let's go into our configuration mode. Enable config G. Alright. So we're going to enter the command VTP domain CCNA. Wonderful. We changed the VTP domain name from null to CCNA. Wonderful. Now we're going to enter the command VTP mode client. Now switch 1 is in client mode. Now we're going to set the VTP password, which is Cisco. And wonderful. Now we're going to do the same thing we just did on switch 1 to switch 3. Enter our configuration mode. Good. Wonderful. And good. So our next task is to create dynamic trunk links between switch 1 and switch 2, and the command to do that is switch port mode dynamic desirable. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to switch 1. And also, you have to know which fast Ethernet port you use to connect the switches. The one I use is fast Ethernet port 1. So let's go ahead and go do that. We're going to do the commands interface fast Ethernet 1. Okay, now we're in fast Ethernet port 1, and we're going to use the command I just said, switch port mode dynamic desirable. Sorry about that. Okay. We're going to, in fact, make sure that there is a dynamic trunking link between switch 1 and switch 2. So let's go ahead and get out of this mode and use the command show interfaces trunk. As you can see, there's clearly a trunk link between switch 1 and switch 2. But let's also check on switch 2 as well. Enable show interfaces trunk. And there is. Now we need to configure static trunk links between switch 1 and switch 3. And the command to do that is switch port mode trunk. So let's go to switch 1, go to configuration mode, and the fast Ethernet port I decided to connect switch 1 and switch 3 on is fast Ethernet port 3. So interface fast Ethernet 3. Okay, now we're going to do the command switch port mode trunk. Wonderful. Now we're going to verify that there are static trunk links between switch 1 and switch 3. So we're going to do the end command. We're going to do show interface trunk. As you can see, there is. The next item we have to complete is a permanent trunk between switch 2 and switch 3. And then we use the same command, which is switch port mode trunk. So let's go to switch 2. And the fast Ethernet port connecting switch 2 to switch 3 is fast Ethernet port 3. And the fast Ethernet port connecting switch 3 to switch 2 is fast Ethernet port 1. So let's get to our configuration mode. Enable config T. Okay. Interface fast Ethernet /3. Okay. Switch port mode trunk. Wonderful. Switch port 3. Enable config T. Interface fast Ethernet 1. Switch port flag spell mode trunk. And wonderful. Now we can add VLANs and assign ports to the switches. Now I will say switch 1 and 3 will not be able to add VLANs because they're in client mode, however they can assign ports, while switch 2 can only add VLANs. So let's begin by adding VLANs to switch 2. We'll be adding VLANs 10, 20, 30, and 99. Config T. Okay, so we're going to start with VLAN 10. And I don't know about you guys, I'm a big fan of Marvel, so I'm going to be naming my VLANs after Marvel characters. So VLAN 10, let's name them Deadpool. Now let's go to VLAN 20. We'll name them Spider-Man. We'll go to VLAN 30, and we're going to name it Venom. Now we're going to go to VLAN 99 and name them Hulk. Now let's run the command show VLAN brief to make sure the VLANs have been added. So let's get out of this mode. Show VLAN brief. And as you clearly see here, the VLANs 10, 20, 30, 99 have been added. So our next task is to assign ports. Now I will say I made a mistake a minute ago that I realized. Switch 1 and 3 can only assign ports because they are in client mode, while switch 2, since it is in server mode, is able to add VLANs as well as assign ports. So I will be assigning ports to switch 2 as well. I just want to clarify that. So let's go to switch 1. For switch 1, we're going to be assigning fast Ethernet port 6 to VLAN 10. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go to our configuration mode. Okay. Now let's get into fast Ethernet port 6. And we're going to do this by using the command switch port mode access, and then switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, now fast Ethernet port 6 has been assigned to VLAN 10. We're going to repeat the same process for switch 2 and 3. They're both going to be on fast Ethernet port 18. However, for switch 2, fast Ethernet port 18 will be assigned to VLAN 10, while for switch 3, fast Ethernet port 18 will be assigned to VLAN 10. Just going to do that now. If I can spell, sorry about that. Okay. So for switch 2, fast Ethernet port 18 has been assigned to VLAN 20. Sorry about that. I guess it would help if that entered the right command. So it is switch port access VLAN 10, not switch port mode access VLAN 10. Sorry about that. So now we have switch 3's fast Ethernet port 18 has been assigned to VLAN 10. In addition, we also have to assign IP addresses to the PCs. And I'll show you really quickly. I've chose IP addresses under my own discretion, so they're pretty basic, as you can see, but they fit the purpose for this demonstration. The next step for us is to configure IP addresses for each of the switches. So we'll go to switch 1 first, our configuration mode. And all the IP addresses I have chosen for the switches are completely made up under my discretion and fit the purposes of this demonstration. We go to interface, VLAN 99, IP address 192.168.83.1, 255.255.255.0. And we'll do a new shutdown. And we're going to repeat the same process for each of the switches, except the IP addresses will be different. Come to switch 2, enable config T. IP address 192.168.83.2, 255.255.255.0. We'll do no shutdown. Lastly, for switch 3, enable config. Okay. Interface. Okay. Now, fortunately, since we're using Stringcast-O-Matic, I'm at about my 15-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and continue on another video.